everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another new video here on my YouTube channel. And so in today's special video, I'm going to show you how I use a new material to create some sketches, okay? So I'll be using this Caran brand gouache. It's actually a pretty big tray. And I bought this from London Graphics Center during my spring vacation this year. And this company has been around since 1915. Wow, over 100 years ago. And yeah, so these cakes of gouache, they're pretty big. I think they will last for quite a while. And it contains 15 gouache colors. And yeah, let's try these out. First of all, start with color swatching. So I'm going to use the Micron Pigma small brush pen to draw the swatches. So I'm just drawing the swatches pretty big because I will be trying the gouache using minimal amount of water, and also try another version mixing a lot of water, just like using watercolors for each of these colors. So I'm just going to use these round brushes from my kids' art studio. So these are just like cheap brushes from Royal Langnickel, and I have a water container and a moist towel. Okay, so now I just want to add a squiggly line for each swatch, so just so I can feel the transparent and opaque qualities of these colors. I'm going to start with this yellow, kind of like lemon yellow. Yeah, so I'm using a lot of pigment, but the color is not that opaque like acrylics. Mixing more water, yeah, pretty transparent. Next color is kind of like cadmium yellow. Still, this yellow is not that opaque. And mixing more water into it, just like using watercolors. Next color is kind of like a red. As you can see, the red is not that opaque, but the colors are pretty rich. And now the next one is kind of like a dark pink. Diluted with a lot of water, still pretty saturated. The next one is kind of like a pink purple color. So far, I don't see a very strong opaque quality with this gouache paint. Now the next one is kind of like a dark violet. The violet is much more opaque. This is the diluted version. And the next one is kind of like ultramarine blue. It's yeah, it's pretty opaque. Diluted version. Yeah, just like bright watercolors. Next row. And the next color is similar to cerulean blue. As you can see, it's not that opaque. You can still see that black line. But again, I love how the colors are looking still very rich, even diluted with a lot of water. This one is kind of like a dark green, a watery version. And this one is kind of like viridian green. And the diluted version, very transparent. So kind of like yellow green. And I kind of like these colors not looking too opaque. So it has some qualities of watercolors. The yellow ochre is actually much more opaque than I expected. The burnt sienna, wow, very opaque. Yeah, so the burnt sienna with the violet and blue, they're the most opaque colors in here. And the last color is, yeah, kind of like a lamp black. Again, pretty opaque. And overall, these colors are looking very juicy and inspiring for me to start to try something out. Let's go. So I'm going to work with a bird and flowers reference photo as well as a countryside with clouds overhead. And I'll use washi tape to frame. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to use the Sakura Pigma fine brush pen to outline the bird and the flowers. Yeah, so this bird image is like a 30-minute project for me. I'm just starting to outline the bird's body shape directly with a fine liner pen, so no pencil. Just want to experiment with the paint more. And yeah, the beak and the belly is a chubby little bird, and the tail, feathers, the leg, and I'm going to just detail a little bit on the wing, and the layers of feathers on the wing, the separation of the head and body, and the little eye with a highlight. Okay, and now I'm ready to doodle the flower petals. And I think the bird's little feet are hiding among the flower petals. Yeah, and this flower is really beautiful. Now I'm ready to start painting after drawing for about 5 minutes. I'm going to start with the brightest colors, as I always do when using watercolors. The yellows and yellow-orange for the head. And blending on a little bit of burnt sienna. And so far, yeah, it's really fun to work with. Now I'm ready to paint the flowers using this red-pink color. And also I'm mixing some white into the red to get some tints of pinks. So the white paint is actually very different from the other cakes. It's in a tube, so you have to self-serve. Yeah, so just playing with mixing more or less white into the red to generate different values of pinks. So far I would say this gouache paint is really fun to work with. It's easy to control. Just like, old-time poster paint, you don't have to worry about overflow because the paint is actually, you can manually mix them together. There's no wet into wet technique, just dry paint laying down on paper and overlapping on top of one another. Now I'm mixing white into the yellow ochre and burnt sienna to get this whitish yellow brown for the bird's belly. More white for the left side of the belly. Yeah, so when you're trying gouache, don't forget white because you need that all the time to generate different levels of tints. So I'm just playing with different levels of yellow-brown tints for the bird's body and also shading the head a little bit. Okay, so now while waiting for the wing area of the bird to dry, I'm going to paint the background using like a pretty intense shade of green by mixing that viridian green color with burnt sienna. And yeah, try not to mix too much water into it. I want like a pretty quiet and even layout. So most area of the background is kind of like a dark green, but not the exact same kind of green. So I want to be kind of subtle by playing with the ratio of burnt sienna mixing into that viridian green color. And the lower right here is actually glowing with a yellow green or two. So I'm just mixing yellow ochre into the spring green. Okay, so now I'm switching to a smaller brush to define the bird's feather and the eye and the beak details a little bit more. Yeah, as you can see, the tip of this brush is very, very small. Playing with light tints of brown or close to white colors. Shade around the attachment of the beak and the head area. And as you can see, my style working with gouache is pretty different from my everyday ink and watercolor sketches in my sketchbook. And I'm trying to be more precise, making sharper refinements using the tip of the brush. And the solid black ink line is very much all covered up by the gouache paint. So that's why detailing with the tip of the brush is really important because I don't have any more sharp definitions like the ink and watercolor world. That a lot of details are defined by the ink pen. Yep, continue to add some more whitish little brush marks for highlighting some feathers. And I also want to add some shading brush strokes on the flowers using that dark violet color in between the flowers and the petals, as well as some highlighting thin brush strokes on the tips of the petals. So the balance of light and shade, yeah, is always very important no matter what medium you're using to create. So I think practicing after a little bit more, I'm ready to take this gouache palette to sketch outdoors from real landscapes, not photos. We'll see how it goes. And refine the little eye of the bird, especially the beak area. I want it to look sharper. Okay, now it's time to problem solve. I want to use this flat brush to repaint the background because I don't like the choppy little brush marks for the background. And now just continue to use very much the same color, the dark green, mixing with burnt sienna. As you can see, a lot of time it's not a problem of your skills or the brush. You have to switch to like a different brush, to make your wash looking smoother. So for background, I think it's good to use a flat brush to avoid choppy brush marks. And now the background is looking cleaner, a little bit flatter, not competing for attention with the flowers and the bird. And now I'm happier with it. Now I'm taking off the washi tape and I get a clean image. Now we're going to work on this little rural landscape. So for this one, I use a blue violet pencil crayon from Faber-Castell to outline the hills and this barn. Just a few lines, and the flowers in the foreground, the contour outline of the cloud, the shading and the folds on the cloud. So I'm going to use colored pencil to add some little detail for the bird. A lot of artists on social media, they're combining colored pencils to detail on top of their finished gouache paintings. So I'm just using the walnut brown color pencil to make the feather texture even sharper on the belly of the bird and the tail. And the gouache paint, it doesn't take very long to dry like acrylic paint. It's about the same drying time as watercolor paint. So I can just add on colored pencil marks about just 10 minutes after I finish the painting. Some red and orange, light and shade on the flowers. Okay, so I'm going to continue to use my experience using acrylic paints to use this gouache. So I've been using acrylic paints since high school for almost 20 years now. So So for gouache, even though it's my first time creating little paintings using this medium, it doesn't feel very new to me. It's kind of similar to acrylic paint. Somewhere in between acrylic paint to watercolors, but closer to acrylic paint. So I just use cerulean blue to paint the blue sky, and then playing with yellow ochre, yellow green, and viridian green, mixing them at different ratios to paint the grassland. Using the flat brush, a lot of horizontal brush marks. So still playing with yellow ochre, cadmium yellow, spring green to paint my first impressions of the hills. Now I'm using the darker green and mix burnt sienna into it. The lower part of the hills is more shaded. So you can see I'm just punching on these brush marks. They don't overflow because it's dry gouache paint. And I'm using diluted yellow greens to paint the distant hill, so there's a better sense of distance. Okay, so now I'm ready to boldly paint the cloud by mixing violet and that ultramarine blue color. I also need more white for lighter tints of grays. Okay, just mixing white into the blue violet. And I'm not too worried about overpainting the grays on the cloud. Right now, maybe looking kind of stormy. I will be adding more white to adjust the values, to make it brighter. You can see, this part is brighter by blending on some white, pure white. And this gouache paint, I would say, is very forgiving. You can always kind of fix your mistakes if you want to by painting a new layer. Now I'm just using cerulean blue and mixing white into it for the layers of clouds and foreshortened sky towards the horizon. Okay, so now I think it's time to let the cloud to dry completely before adding any more white onto it. I think the white is going to look even brighter when it's done wet on dry. So while waiting for the cloud to dry, I'm going to paint the barn using orange brown. and adding some brown tones to shape the distant grassland and the middle ground grass blades for some variation more than just greens. Foreground, I want some grass blade texture. The grass is usually visually taller in the foreground and more detailed. So I'm just playing with different kinds of greens, playing with a ratio of yellow ochre, viridian green, and spring green. So just like watercolors and acrylic paint, it's better to wait when the previous layer to be all dried before you add some, brighter highlights or a new layer. So now I'm just doing wet on dry, some pure white to brighten the clouds. And at the same time, adding a more intrinsic texture for the clouds, using a lot of wavy brushstrokes. The clouds looks like ocean waves crashing in the sky. And obviously painting clouds using gouache is easier compared to using watercolors because you can always fix your light, medium, and dark tones by adding more layers. So in this way, it's easier compared to using watercolors that you can't overpaint. Now I'm using the flat brush to add some bolder suggestions of highlights. And I also want the lower part of the sky to look a little bit brighter by giving another layer of white. Now I'm using like a medium small round brush and using pure white to paint these wildflowers in the foreground. And it's always nice to have more details in the foreground. Yeah, just loose and relaxing little specks of white. And the white is echoing with the white on the clouds. So yeah, pretty nice balance of the top and bottom areas. And just some very small details to suggest texture of middle ground grass. So the middle ground is not way too blank. And also kind of outlining the shape of the barn, shape one side of the barn. So it looks more like a 3D shape. Adding some even smaller little details. So for gouache paint, I feel like, I can't stop painting because I can just add more and more details in more and more layers. Yeah, so a bit more details for the distant hills, using smaller brush marks, intensify the shade, and at the same time adjusting some medium and bright values. And to final polish, before I call it done, I feel like the clouds could be even brighter. So I'm adding another layer of pure white, wet on dry. Yes, always like a better move to do it wet on dry. Yeah, so now the clouds are looking less like thunder clouds, more like a sunny day clouds, well shaded. And now it's the satisfying part to take off the washi tape. Here we go. Here's the look of my finished 2 little sketches. Each took me about 30 to 40 minutes to paint using gouache. So if you would like to see me using more gouache to paint more images, just let me know in the comment section. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye and take care, everyone.